Hello, everyone. Happy Friday evening. If you've been tuning in throughout the day, you'll know this is my third conversation a day. That's right. Public speaking in business has been busy today, but I love it because I've been talking to so many exciting, dynamic entrepreneurs and businessmen and women. And so I'm so excited today because, as I said earlier, my Model Speakers Academy launches actually next week. I start with the webinars. So if you want to know more about the Model Speakers Academy, please sign up for the free webinar. The link is on my page. You will learn all the things that I do to help speakers get more comfortable speaking, have that confidence, be able to articulate their thoughts, their ideas to help them not only in their businesses, but on the workplace to get that promotion, to be able to be a thought leader in the community. You know, public speaking and communication can be used in every aspect of your life. And so that's why I did this series because I wanted individuals to know that the options are endless, that public speaking and communication can really open so many doors. And so many individuals limit themselves because they allow fear, and just what others would think about them to hold them back. So, what I want you to do is strive for progress, not perfection, because none of us are perfect. So, just do your very best. It's okay if you mumble or stumble on a word or two. It's okay if you lose your spot, but just get back on track. And what I noticed, the more you practice, the more you prepare, the better you will be as a speaker. So, I have an 8-week Model Speakers Academy that is launching, and I want to see you in the program, even if you're an established speaker or if you're someone who doesn't know where to begin. I want to help you craft that signature story, craft your message, because we all have a story to tell. We all have gone through experiences that have helped mold and shaped us into who we are today. So none of it's wasted. And so I want to help you shape your story for your audience where they'll be engaged, where they'll be literally sitting on the edge of their seats, listening to every word you say. So, like I said, I'm so excited about my Speakers Academy, but I'm so excited about my Public Speaking and Business series because I have so many great people. And I really want you to go through all the videos. So, if you missed any, especially today, go back through and watch them. They're about 20 to 30 minutes long, and you will get a lot of insight and you're going to learn about a lot of business movers and shakers. And I have all of their links attached to the videos where you can actually follow them. You can actually click and send them a message and get engaged and actually work with these individuals. So today, or this evening, I should say, I have a special treat. I have Tim Stokes, and I'm going to let him tell you about himself and where he's from. But I'm just going to say it's 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here, but it's about 8 a.m. where he is. So he's definitely out of the country. So that's the beautiful part about technology. When you have the internet, you can connect with anybody across the world. And that's what's happening right now. So, Tim, welcome. I should say good morning to you. And I'm so happy that you're here today to have this conversation.
Thanks, Samantha. It's a pleasure to be here to join your audience, and good afternoon and good morning or good evening to everyone wherever you are today, right now. So I'm Tim Stokes. I've been in business for 41 years. I find it hard to believe that, but 41 years, and I've been assisting businesses to grow fast and to set them up to work without the owner if they choose not to work in their business at all for about the past 27 years. I work with businesses across all different industry sectors. I have worked with startups. I like the smaller $1, $2, $3, $5 million size businesses that are established, been in business for a while, and things are not working for them. They've got challenges. The business isn't growing. They have no life. They have a work instead of a business and a life, and they've got some challenges and they'd like to overcome them. So yeah, that's a little bit of my background. I've been public speaking since 1999. I even found an old video of myself way back then, and I thought I didn't do too bad a job actually back then. But my first one was a very cringy one. When I look back at my very first public speaking, yeah, that was really bad. But the funny thing was, it became very strong motivation for me to improve. So yes, so that's a little bit of a summary about me.
And where are you located?
I am in Brisbane, Australia. Some of us call it Brisneyland or Bris Vegas. So yeah, the hotter part of Australia, you could say. One of the hotter cities in Australia. It's probably yes, it is the most northern, hottest city, you could say. Major capital city. Brisbane, great place to live. Been here for 20 something years. Really nice. Great part of Australia. So yeah,
Wow. Well, and like I said, I love that. And I wanted everyone to know that because I'm in United States, Charlotte, North Carolina, and I'm having a conversation with someone in Australia. So, like I said, to me, it's just mind blowing how technology can really connect us and bring us together. So I'm so excited. You're my first international speaker or guest, I should say, but prayerfully you won't be the last. But you definitely you're breaking the groundwork. You're setting the stage high today.
it'll
So
set a high
welcome.
standard for everyone to follow. Yeah, build on.
Exactly. So I'm gonna get right into it. Why do you believe public speaking is a crucial skill for business professionals today?
Well, just look at you. There you are, creating a business and working online. So it's an opportunity to create a business, an income, if you like, for a start. That's that's probably the simplest way to start with. So it is a fantastic way to get yourself out there. It builds authority and credibility. Those two words are really interesting to study. They're actually slightly different, but they're similar. So it builds a lot of authority, a lot of credibility straight away. And I found that my best clients typically came out of me speaking at some event because your credibility and your authority, as long as you do a good job, are pretty much established straight away. And so that's a big ingredient of winning sales from people that don't know you. It
Mhm.
just builds that credibility and that authority. It gives you the opportunity to speak about something you're passionate about, and then people pick up on that passion, and passion inspires people. It opens minds, it opens
Mhm.
opportunities for people to connect and learn and want to know you and speak to you as well. And nothing beats that. I think the public speaking arena is the best way to get that credibility and authority really quick. And so I've used it in my business since 1999. So 25 years I've been speaking. And it's my favorite form of lead generation, you could
Mhm.
say, for my business. So yeah, I'm a very big advocate for public speaking. I've had clients. I remember having a client whose business grew from 3 million to 6 million to 12 million to 23 million year
Wow.
after year. And when he got to about 12, he said, I got to do a public speaking course because I got so many employees, I'm starting to get nervous talking to them. So he decided to do a public speaking course so he could speak better to his own employees.
Hmm.
And so there are many different reasons to learn about public speaking, to use it in your business. So yeah, I'm a very big advocate for it.
Well, that's awesome. And I love, like you said, credibility. That's the easiest way to get clients to trust you. We're not buying from robots, we're buying from people. And so they want to buy from somebody they know, they like, they can trust. And so you have to be able to establish that. And the best way to do it is with your voice. So I love all the points you brought up. So my second question is, can you share a personal experience where effective public speaking significantly impacted your career or business?
I wouldn't say it's almost one event. It's just a series. So since I started public speaking, I just realized it was just so easy to get clients when you conduct some sort of a talk before approaching them any other way. So if they find you from a website and then you start talking to them, then they're cautious, they're skeptical, they don't see your authority. You can't communicate your authority anywhere near as well as what you can with speaking. That's like the number one. So I just feel that's the way to go. Like for me, it's impacted my business enormously because I've generated means and income from public speaking, from initially running free seminars to sell like a one-on-one service. And then it moved into 2-day workshops. Then I moved into a 5-day workshop for a actually completely different industry, wealth creation education, used it for that and built that business to about 80,000 a month within about 4 months from just speaking.
Wow.
So that was a nice fast growth business that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't from public speaking.
Mm.
Then I've run 7-month course. I built a 7-month course before everyone decided that courses were a good thing back in 2007. And that was a half day, a fortnight workshop with small groups of business owners live. And I sold that through free seminars again. So I've used free seminars as a strategy, if you like, to acquire clients for multiple different businesses very successfully. I was a business partner of a spiritual workshop company that ran workshops 1, 2, and 3 days, and again used free seminars as a means to promote that as well. So it's just such a fantastic model to grow any business, and that's where it's benefited my business enormously for all those years of it was interesting because I'd market it and then turn up and speak at it. And because I went into a lot of regional areas, a lot of time it was just me. And so I'd greet people at the door as they walked in, and then walk down the front, introduce myself, and then away I go, and then collect registrations for a course and follow them up. So it was a bit of a one-man army flying. Sometimes I'd fly in for the night, run a free seminar to a regional area, and then fly back home the next morning, and then go back later to run a 2-day workshop or a course or something like that. So if it wasn't for public speaking, I wouldn't have been doing any of that. And it was a fantastic way to get to see the country, tax
Mhm.
deductible, stay in nice hotels, meet a lot
Right.
of people, take my family every now and again as well on the road trip. So it's just such a fantastic journey to be a speaker and to get out and travel. These days, you don't have to travel. And then when my course was delivered offline, I used to travel a lot. I'd fly to Sydney, which is about an hour and a half flight, and then catch a train or drive a car out to where I used to run my workshop and then go home that afternoon. And so you do a lot of traveling, and
Mhm.
that's a good thing. And then when the whole technology caught up with you can deliver online, oh, fantastic. Haven't got to leave. And then I can run the same workshops and the same courses. So it's such a great way to make money in any business because you don't have to leave home. You can build
Wow.
a very successful business without going anywhere. And
Mhm.
that's how I work with clients now. I work with clients in 5 countries doing the same thing. It's just it's one-on-one
Mhm.
through Zoom or something like that. So yeah, it's a fantastic way to grow a business, and I don't think there's too many better ways to grow a business than public speaking and talking about what you do for a living and what your skills are and what you're offering. So yeah.
Wow. And I love that you shared the transformation or the process, how you had to actually physically go to these places and you were really, hitting the ground and the plane, train, running. And then now, you don't even have to travel as much, but you're still able to have that same effect or even better because you said you work with people in like 5 countries. So
Mm,
that's a massive reach. So that's amazing. And it's all about being able to share your message, sharing your value, sharing what you have to offer, because the key thing with really any business in the thought process should be, what's the problem that my client has and how can I solve it? And so your basic thing is to help people get better in business, help them generate more money. And if they want to eventually not have to work in their business, they can do that as well. They can have a well-oiled machine that they can work on but not have to work in. And so that's amazing that you were able to really grow. And I think also we should highlight is that you were able to evolve with time. Some people don't want to change. They get
mm.
used to a certain process and they get stuck. And sometimes, especially as a speaker, you have to be able to read the room. I have to know when to shift. I have to know when people are getting bored or when people look they're getting restless or tired. I have to be able to flow and move in that moment. And so that's even in work, in life. You have to be able to continuously change and evolve and be able to stretch and be able to reinvent yourself, if you will, if you want to have longevity.
Exactly right. That's right. You got to move with the times, move
Yeah,
with the mood of the marketplace, if you like. That's probably a good way of saying it. Yeah, you've got to adapt, you've got to improve. And
absolutely.
that's where it took me a few different technologies to find one that actually was consistent and reliable to deliver online. And that's where you got to go through that learning curve and figure all that sort of stuff out. So yes, life is a constant learning experience, isn't it?
Yes, yes. And the more you're able to adapt and change and learn, the better the whole process will be. You can't resist it because it's going to happen and you don't want to get left behind. So you definitely have to stay with it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. And so my third question is, what are some common public speaking challenges that business professionals face and how can they overcome them?
Well, the first one is the fear that is associated with public speaking. That's a big one. And because I started talking to a room in a live environment, I found that, I mean, I've trained a few other speakers as well, is just get comfortable with. A lot of people don't like pregnant pauses, and so they fill it with their ums. Whereas I'm comfortable to walk up to the front of the room, stand there, look at everyone, and then slowly say, "Good evening, everyone. How are you all doing tonight?" And then people speak back, and I say, "Oh, it's great that I like it when you speak back. Yes, you are allowed to talk back in my talks, and feel free to ask me questions at any time." And I find just relaxing the audience straight away, that's a really big ingredient. But a lot of people And someone once said to me, you got to get energy back from the room. And I said, what do you mean? And they said, well, when you're talking, you're putting a lot of energy back. But the way to get energy back to you, and this stops you from being tired as a speaker, is engage the audience and let them ask you questions, but ask them questions. And so I typically kick off my talks with a couple of questions. And I'll say, who here had a long, hard day? Or who here works in retail? Or who works in service business? And by engaging the audience and asking questions right from the start, it really relaxes you, but it also relaxes the audience because they kind of get where you're coming from. And it gives you a chance to gather your thoughts because you're not doing all the talking then. Other people are talking. And so you just relax into the environment by allowing other people to come back and reciprocate and engage and things like that. And you can have a bit of fun with the audience as well.
Yes.
And when you have a bit of fun with the audience, that really relaxes you as well. So to me, it's about how you start is everything. And because I ran 3 seminars that was selling like a workshop, my conversion rate was everything. If I didn't convert well, I was in trouble and I didn't make any money and I might have driven or flown there and that was a wasted experience. So extremely rarely did I not make money out of it to cover costs and all that. But I found that the way I kicked off, the first 30 seconds had a very big impact on conversion rate. And if I didn't nail the start, I was in trouble and I knew it for the rest of the night. When I used to run the night seminars, I knew that if I didn't nail the start, I was in trouble and my conversion, I couldn't recover. So I found that the key to public speaking is get really good at starting your first 10, 20 seconds. If you can get your first 10, 20, you go, oh, did a pretty good job of that. And it gives you that confidence boost because it's all about confidence. And so you look at mechanisms to get your confidence. So how do you greet people? Don't be in a rush. Don't be concerned with the pauses like I'm doing now. So if you can't think of something, don't worry about it. Don't stress about it. Don't fill it with, No, you don't have to say things. You can have silence, and silence is golden. A lot of time as a public speaker, you can learn to use silence, and it's a very valuable thing because it gives people time to collect their thoughts, to think about what you're saying, to digest what you're saying, and that becomes an asset. So don't feel that you have to always know what to say all the time and to fill that space with sounds if they're not words. Just relax into it and just be fine with it and don't worry about it. And so I find that probably 80, 90% of your success is nailing the start. You get the start right, you relax because everyone can talk. Everyone can talk. No one has a problem really with talking to one-on-one as a scenario. So why turn that into stress in a public environment? So if you learn to relax into yourself by helping yourself with how you start and how you nail that start, then you'll probably do a really good job from that point on. So it's just working on that start. So I remember training this guy in Sydney when I used to operate and live in Sydney. And I said, all right, practice the introduction. You can introduce me, practice your introduction. He walked down, and then you get to the front and I go, nah, start again. And so I practice his walk and the turnaround because you get down and you start talking before he finished turning around. I said, no, I want you to go to the front, turn around, wait 2 seconds before you say anything. And that took him a while to figure out how to do that. And that's where it comes from, the fear of, I got to fill that empty space. I got to talk a lot. No, you don't. Just relax into it and just enjoy the moment, be present.
Yes.
And just think about what you're going to say. And that's the magic word. When you're in the zone of speaking, you're not thinking about what you just said ever, and you're not thinking about what's coming up. It just flows through you, and you just allow it to come through. And so it means you got to practice a lot, really practice your content. So when I started public speaking, I didn't have a lot of training. I went to a bit of a rough speakers training with one guy. That was it. And I just figured it out from there. But what I did was I'd say, okay, if I'm going to run a PowerPoint, which I typically do, the PowerPoint is a prompt. It's not a monologue that they read. My mistake with public speaking, people do that. But it was a prompt. But I knew I always had about 4 times more content for every slide than what I was ever going to say. But a lot of people try to memorize everything they're going to say for that one slide. It doesn't work. You can't. So what you want to do is have 4 times as much content and even type it. I used to type it out and I have it all written out. And then I think about what I'm going to say. I'd read it, then put it aside, and then I'd try to do it from memory, and then I'd look at my notes and go, oh, yeah, probably missed that point, and that point I probably remembered. You always want to have too much content all the time, and if you've got too much content, you're not putting pressure on yourself to remember everything, and if you're not pressured, then you're going to relax. And so it's really creating the environment and really preparing for it, and that's the biggest thing with public speaking, and being okay and finding jokes that the audience likes and having a bit of fun with the audience. The audience loves edutainment, which is
Yes,
a combination of entertaining and education. If you can nail that combination, you're going to go great as a speaker. And because the laughter is the pattern interrupter, it breaks the concentration, it reinvigorates the listeners, it reinvigorates the audience so they can have a bit of fun. And I used to have a joke that I used to play in the audience. And when I have an audience, I talk about fear in business and making mistakes and all that. And I say, who's got a fear of public speaking that they'd like to stand up and tell us about? And you watch the hands go, who's got a fear of public speaking? All these hands that I'd like to stand up and tell us about. And a lot of the hands would go down really quick. And then some people go, oh, yeah, I've got a really bad fear of public speaking. I'd say, oh, have you? And how long have you had this fear for? And I'd start engaging them in conversation. The rest of the audience starting to smile and starting to laugh because they didn't realize that they were overcoming their fear of public speaking by talking about their fear of public speaking. So it was a lot of fun. But
right.
it's figuring out your jokes that you can have and the fun you can have with your audience, because that relaxes you again. So it's really preparing yourself. What are your methodologies, your habits, your disciplines, so that you can be relaxed? And how do you engage the audience? What are the questions going to be that engage the audience and things like that? And just having a lot of fun. A bit of sarcasm thrown in doesn't hurt as well. So yeah, I think it's really about that. It's just nailing the start and just being relaxed, and don't worry about the pauses, and just sometimes just think and look around and the words will come to you. But yeah, just don't be too concerned. And as you practice that, you get better and better. And so it doesn't bother you anymore. And then you become a really good speaker. I think that's a big ingredient.
Wow. Well, I think you really answered actually question number 4, because I was going to ask you next, what was a essential tip you could give to someone looking to improve their public speaking skills? But I think you kind of gave it. You said sometimes we have fear, which is natural, but how to overcome that, was, you said, of course, nail the beginning, nail the opening, which I agree. You want to grab the audience in that first 20, 30 seconds. And then you said, don't be afraid or uncomfortable with the pauses. And I like that, because sometimes people do feel the need that I got to have something to say the whole time. But allow yourself to be relaxed, and I feel like you said it's an energy transfer. So if you show that you're relaxed and in control, and you're taking time to take it all in, you're giving your audience that permission too. So they can be relaxed and taking the conversation in, and, let it be fun, have it engaged. Like you said, ask questions, try to get them involved, so all the talking won't be on you, but you're sharing it. So I really do think you answered it, unless you have any other tips, but I think you kind of covered it. So the last question was, what is one essential tip you would give to someone looking to improve their public speaking?
It's really about public speaking is coming from the heart to make a genuine difference to people's lives. So it's really getting really clear of the value that you can add to people's lives and how you're going to enrich their lives, how you're going to make a difference in people's lives, and also takeaways. Because recently I've been one of a group of speakers for 1 and 2 day workshop events, and sometimes I'm waiting to take notes, but I'm like, not getting a lot of takeaways here. So it's like, what can you give the audience that they can take away? And when I used to run my free seminars up and down the east coast of Australia, and I typically got fantastic feedback, even though it's free. A lot of people don't want to give much away for free. I was the opposite. I want to give them so much for free that they go, wow, that's the free stuff. How good's the paid stuff?
True.
And I love getting testimonials from people to say, oh, I did what you said, Tim, and my sales have gone up, or my profits have gone up by 10, 15% in the last week, just because that one tip you gave me, that one idea that you gave me. So it's about really giving people value. And a lot of people, oh, I don't want to give them the good stuff. They can pay for that. And it's like, well, if you're not giving samples of your good stuff, why would people pay for it? And so I used
True.
to maintain a very high conversion rate from those environments of 20 to 70%. from running free seminars into workshops and did that for many years. And it's, I believe, one of the big reasons was because I gave a lot of stuff away for free. And it's actually a common comment. Gee, you give a lot of stuff away for free. And I go, well, I got a lot of stuff to give, so I can afford to give a lot of away. So it's just really figuring out the true value of what you've got and what can you give people. Because a wise friend of mine once said, it's not, people don't need information, they need inspiration. I went, they often do. So then that's why I've made my talks about inspiration, because everyone in business already knows what they've got to do. They're not doing it. So there's always too many things to do. There's always something you can do to improve a business. So it's not a lack of content. It's the inspiration to use what you already know, to do what is necessary, to be disciplined, to be focused, to make the time for what's important. Because people say they're too busy. And I say, well, you're running your busyness. You've got to get clear of your priorities. And I found it's all about that one word. It's all about priorities. You get clear of your priorities, you make enormous progress really quick. Sometimes you may not be aware of what those priorities are, but that's the key. So if you can figure out what your priorities are and what you can, as a speaker, and what you can give people so that you inspire them to use what you're giving them, you're going to make a difference in the world. And that's what public speaking is. It's the opportunity to make a difference to a high volume of people.
Wow, that was beautiful. I love that. People have enough information, but they need inspiration. And public speaking should be changing lives, inspiring people, and knowing the value that you're going to bring to your audience and not being afraid to give away free information. Because I feel like if you're going to give it all away, then you don't know enough. So we need to know enough, know plenty.
Yeah.
So when we're giving it out, we won't feel like, oh my gosh, there's a shortage. If I give this all out, what am I going to teach? It should still be a lot to teach. And like you said, if you give enough good free stuff, that's like when you're in Costco's or Sam's. I'm not sure if you're familiar with those stores in Sydney or in Australia, but they give out samples. They have people literally in the
Yeah.
aisles with the food. So guess what? They give out as many as you want because you're tasting it. This tastes good. Then I'm going to go buy it because the sample tasted so good. So let's not be afraid to give away good tasting samples of our business, of our work, showing our value so that people will want more of the stuff that costs because the free stuff tastes so good. So you really gave some excellent gems, Tim. I really thoroughly enjoyed our conversation, not from down under, but from up above. You gave me some great information to, public speaking. So I loved it. And I can tell that you have the passion because you've been working so long in business and you've seen it change and evolve over time. But I can still see and even hear in your voice that you love what you do. And so you continue to do it.
That's it. If you love what you do, it's not work anymore.
That's right. And I definitely love public speaking, and I'm looking forward to this journey. So we're gonna wrap up. I like to give a good taste. I think everyone got a good taste this evening or this morning if they're watching in Australia. How can people stay in contact with you, Tim? How can they work with you? How can they follow you on your social media? Any websites? Can you share some information? Do you have any programs or anything coming up?
I've got a local one because I'm more offline than what I am online these days. So unless you're in Brisbane, it's probably going to be a bit hard to come to that one.
Yeah.
Profit Transformation is my business name. So if you look up Profit Transformations, you'll find me online, wherever you'll find me. LinkedIn's probably a good place to follow me. Facebook as well. Look me up by name, look me up by Profit Transformations, or go to the website. You can get one of my books for free on the website. So people want to get the book and then subscribe. I don't bombard people with a lot of information. I give out small amounts of information every now and again so that people don't get overwhelmed because they're already running busy lives as business owners. So any of those means that people are welcome to follow me and connect to me. And I'm happy to email people and have a chat to people. If people are interested in having a chat to me, we can have a Zoom call and have a chat about what's going on in your world, your business, your part of the planet, and then happy to have a chat to people and see where it goes from there. So yeah, thanks very much, Samantha.
Well, this was wonderful, and I plan on including your links so you can send them to me, and I'll be sure to include it in this message. But here you heard it. Even though Tim is in Australia, he is welcome and fine with emailing and talking to people in the United States, perhaps scheduling a Zoom call to find out about your business, how he can help. And he even has free books, like he said on his website, that you can actually, get contact with or get a hold to. So that's excellent because people like free things, you know. So definitely. He has a lot of wealth of knowledge and information, over 40 years of helping business owners. So he's definitely, you know, a pioneer or a vet, I should say, in this space. And he's a great speaker. You can tell from our conversation, he's an excellent speaker. He knows his stuff. And so if you want to work with him, he definitely would be a great resource. And so I want to thank you again for tuning in this evening. This was my third talk. And I want to say I might have saved the best for last, you know, from our Australian talk that I had today with Tim. And I want to encourage you to sign up for my webinar if you want help with your public speaking or just how to craft your story to get more confident with articulating your thoughts. The page is up now for you able to sign up and join me next week for my first webinar so that you can become a part of the Model Speakers Academy family. So until next week, I'll have some more great conversations. I'm going to say tomorrow, but I don't have any talks over the weekend. But I'll definitely be back Monday with another public speaking in business. And I hope you're able to join in. Thanks again, Tim, for joining me.
Thanks, Samantha. It's been really enjoyable and it's been great fun sharing a few things.